Press your way right on in. Good Monday evening, family. Press your way right on in to Scriptoria Inspirations. You all, last week I did a video on, um, it was reference about learning to encourage our children, learning to encourage our children, whether they're doing good or bad, learning to encourage them. And it kind of drew some positive feedback and some not so positive feedback, but nevertheless, it's their right, and they usually I don't go about answering or responding to emails, but I felt the need after reading it and praying over it for a while. I said, Lord, let me respond to something. Some of these, and some of them I wrote down. And the first one I want to stick out is the one that I received about paying support for your child and not being able to have the ability to comfort the child. This is what I'll say to you. If you're that biological father, you are entitled to go to your local health department and get a copy of that child birth certificate with your ID proven, and you show up to the school. When you show up to the school, you produce that birth certificate and you say, let them know, ask first if that child is there. If that child is there, they may not allow you to see that child on that day, but you're seeking you arrange lunch with them. Say, I would like to know what time is the lunch period and am I allowed to have lunch with them? You done establish you that father. And secondly, if that all don't go well, you always have the right. If you're a parent father and you choose to want to be an encouraging be in that child's life, you can go to your local courthouse. When you go to your local courthouse, you will go to what they call the family law division. And you simply fill out your affidavit to go before the judge. Once you fill out that affidavit, that you explain to the judge the reason why you want to come before them. And it's what you want to establish a parenting plan. That parenting plan is going to give you just equal amount time to that child as the mother. During that time, what you want to do is you start encouraging that child when you get that child in your presence. Do not get that child and start the moment you get that child, what your mom said about me. That's not important. Oh, your mama did this and your mama did that. That's why I couldn't see you. That's not important. I tried calling you. That's not important. I've had to go through this and that. That's not important. What's going to be important at that moment is, hey, son or daughter, I miss you and I love you. From this moment going forward, every other weekend I should have you, every other Christmas, every other Thanksgiving, so forth, and you start building on that. You start building on that. The main thing the Word of God says is, fathers, not to provoke your child. That means you're not going to get out there and call that child all type of names and make that child angry. And whatever that child come and disclose with you and discuss with you, you set limitations on it. What you want to do, you don't want to talk about what goes on in that home under the condition that child is not being beat, that child is not being molested, and that child is not being left to go to bed hungry. The rest of it, let that child be a child in your presence. That's that question to that one that mentioned what if he wanted to be in that child life and he was being restricted. Second one was, well, what if I'm paying and when I pay and try to talk to my child and even get my child on the weekends, I don't get that opportunity? Well, that leads back to the first question I said. In that case, you would have to go back to your courthouse if you choose and you really want that encouragement, is to let the courts know that you're not getting your time like you want. And involve the very final straw, I would say, the final straw is you would contact law enforcement with that case plan in hand. If it's your weekend and it's written and it's already stamped by the judge, guess what? The law gonna abide. The law stands. The judge doesn't say land of the law gonna ride. The primary purpose of that video was, it was on a personal level for me. I just want other parents, because I know it's just not me that's experiencing this. I need parents to understand the importance of encouraging our children, no matter if they're in a two-parent home, no matter if we're single parents, which is going to lead me to one question too I got from a single lady. But we need to get into our children mental. We need to to be able to have a strong relationship with that child. Think about it like this here. And this is what I do. I go through and I look at some of my nieces and nephews, and I just watch my daughter, just watch them how carefree these kids are. Watch your kids. Watch how carefree they are. These children come to you, Mama, I'm hungry. Mama, I need $10 for the book fair. Mama, I ain't got lunch money. Mama, I need this. But do them kids ever think Mama may not have it or Daddy may not have it? Do they ever think like that? Them kids don't think like that. They always think we got it. But where are we drawing our source from? Some of us are working. Some of us are retired. But where are we primarily getting our strength from to be able to perform? Where does all our help come from? The Word of God says your help comes from Him. Therefore, as a young man, if you listen to a couple of Tupac songs, one of his songs, he said he was drawn to the streets because the streets, he knew they sold drugs, but it showed him love. Then listen to the one where he said, "Dear Mama." He said his daddy passed away and he didn't cry because they were never there. That's proof in the pudding. Had his dad been there, his mom was a single parent. He said that too. But had his dad been there, the many nights Tupac was coming home from high school prior to him stopping high school, and he writing them lyrics, just sitting there letting him free form or freestyle to him. You know how much greater of an accomplishment that would have been. Encouragement it would have been to Tupac. He was a celebrity, but he still was drawn to what life. Tupac was drawn to that street life, and many of these children today, if it's not him, it's other rappers out here, along with these video games, that these young men think that's the way to live. They think in order to be poor rank in the street, you got to case somebody. That ain't the way. They think you got to be. They feel them gangs and them homeboys give them more love than they get at home. And that's coming from two. You got some coming from two parents and some coming from single parent homes. So even if the biological father ain't there, if they got a father figure that's going to be first and foremost a father in their life, a father ain't always got to be there on a financial level. Simply, man, come on, let's sit down and watch this game. Let's go outside and throw the ball. Man, what you thinking about? Let's build this car right here together, even if it ain't but a model car. You spending time, you instilling in him the characters of a man. You getting him out there in the yard. If I'm cutting, you go ahead and mulch. I'm cutting and you go ahead and get as much as you can, just some kind of form of connection. And I give a shout out to the parents, that the men that are in these women's lives that are not these children biological fathers. They take on those kids as if they're their own. That's love. That's love. That's love. That's love. You hear me? Not because they loving on the parent. I mean, they active in these children's lives. They go to events with them. They show up to PTOs. Yeah. Imagine Jacob. This is the example before I go to the next story. Imagine Jacob. Jacob is a friend to whoever. And Jacob's at the football game. Jacob doesn't support his friend that's on that field. Jacob's sitting in that bleachers. But Jacob on the team too, but Jacob ain't playing right now because Jacob got some grades he got to get buckled under. But him and his friend been in the last 2 years on that same football team. Every time Jacob go to the game, Jacob's sitting with his friend's parents. He's sitting in the Serenity. But Jacob look over, friend, mama throwing the banner. Dad just throwing the banner, hollering for that child. Think about what Jacob feeling. And many times he done been out on that field with his friend, and he can hear his mom. He didn't hear his mama hollering. He didn't hear his dad out there screaming and hollering. He didn't have all that. So you see the difference in it? It makes a difference, not that whether you're in a two-parent home or a single-parent home. It makes a difference to have a relationship with a child, period. It makes a difference to be able to encourage a child. It goes a long ways. We sometimes get comfortable and think that these gadgets and these games, this GTA, these children think that you got to take cars. No, These roadblocks where you got sick individuals around here from cross country, even in your hometown, sitting up talking and praying upon your children, got your child thinking they're talking to a child when it's a whole grown adult. You got, back in my time, as a female, it was embarrassment if you got pregnant at 16, 17. That's the time they was getting pregnant, 16, 17, roughly senior years of school. Now you got young ladies out here now, 12 and 13 years old having children. 12 and 13 years old having kids. Having kids, where's the mama? You wonder. See, first and foremost, I'm not your friend. I'm your mama first, then your friend. Cause see, that friend first is gonna be in the club with you. Friend gonna let you smoke in the house. Friend gonna let you have parties at the house. Friend ain't got no boundary, but a mother does. A friend, you can get out in the street and no, that's what you do with a friend. A mother ain't gonna tolerate that, and everybody ain't gonna understand that. And I'm not here to bash nobody with their parenting. Hear me out. I'm not bashing nobody their parenting. Because listen, baby, don't none of it come with instructions. We all here by God's grace and we're on his plan, but we can learn from each other as we go. If you're willing to accept the room for growth, you got to first be willing to accept the room for growth. A woman, a female, and any child, especially a female, should first hear these words from their dad. You're the most beautiful person I know. You're very smart. You're very intelligent. I like when you dress like this. I like when you dress a way that, I like when you dress that's according to your age, not for sight. Listen, I like when you dress according to your age and not for sight. Because sometimes you can allow these kids to put on, these young girls to put on these clothes, and you inviting them sickos' eyes. You inviting them. Because they're still a man, still a woman. Because when I worked out there, women was coming through with the same charges. So, you know, but when they hear it, with something about when they hear it at home and they hear it from their dad, the difference it makes. Yeah, Dad, you're right. It makes a difference. It makes them feel better. So when they get out in the streets and the next person go to them boys, little pissy boys go to telling them that, guess what? I heard that before. I know that. I'm confident in it. And thirdly, I had this thirdly, I had this one parent, she has texted me and asked me, what about when you're a single parent? Baby, that's the time you got to take it this off and just throw it over to God. Because I once went there walking through your house and bashing them, that other parent, and angry about because the lights do and this do and you ain't got no help. Guess what? When you get through bashing and all that hell raising about what the other parent ain't done, guess what's still sitting in front of you? That child, that light bill, food need to be in the refrigerator, car insurance, life insurance, credit card, it's still sitting there. So what did you do in that time? What did you gain besides elevating your blood pressure, child hearing you bash that other parent? And I once wasn't there. But the child hearing you bash that other parent, and you still faced with that responsibility. You still got that, and that's the same for the dad. If it's a single dad that's gonna watch this here and you battling that with taking care of that child and that mother ain't help you, even when you get finished, it's still gonna be sitting there facing you. See, my mom for some years on her latter, and as I was getting older, she was a single parent. But guess what? I knew times was hard, but I was never hungry. My lights never went off, and I ain't miss a beat with clothes. I mean, so I think times are genuinely is a way of life of God just pressing us. He pressing you. He pressing you to pray more. He pressing you to fast more. He pressing you to look beyond that situation. He pressing you to speak manifestation. He pressing you to make that vision board. He pressing you because he know what's in you. And sometimes you got to just take a break to gather yourself. It's okay. Take that break, whatever it may be. Wherever you at in your point in life right now, you may not be where you want to be, but guess what? You where God got you. You where you at, because God, that's where God wants you at right there. He ain't trying to project you and accelerate you up there that fast. Because I'm telling you, some of the wealthiest people are lacking in other areas. They financially got safety, but what about spiritually? What about mental? What about emotional? They lack even the decency to say, hey, sometimes. They'll walk around like when they go do number 2, it smell like roses. Let's just be honest. That's in all races. You got them like that. Just act like they better than the rest. But God got a way of humbling the heart. He got a way, y'all. When we draw our strength as a single parent, your strength don't come from yourself. When you throw that thing up over to God, start teaching them children before they go to bed, the 23rd Psalms. I'm not here to say you got to drag your child in church every Sunday, but I'm telling you without a shadow of a doubt, along with praying over your children, get these children to know the 23rd Psalms. It starts off with telling them the Lord. It doesn't say my mama, the daddy, the auntie, the cousin, the sister, the brother. It says the Lord is my shepherd. They need to know that I'm your shepherd here, but I need you to know who's my shepherd. And I want you to, and even you got to even do it like I do my nephew. I tell him like this, I want you to meet my friend. He said, who your friend is, Auntie? God. That's what my boy tell me. He said, I tell him that. I said, he opened the door and asked me what I'm doing. He said, oh, you talking to your friend, Auntie? I said, yep. He said, I said, who my friend? He says, God. So that's why I said, I want you to come meet him. And before we eat, I teach him little things. I taught my older nieces them that. Before you eat anything, you bless that food. Give God his due diligence. We want to encourage these children and let these children get to know Christ for themselves, you all. Give them. Don't rob them of that. And always there's ways around to encourage them. There's no need to allow no anger from that other parent to have you where you can't encourage your child. No. That's why they said sometimes you got to encourage yourself. You got to go to talking to yourself. They see who you talking to myself. Show Liz, I am. I be outside. They can look at me. Hey, I'm human. They think I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to God. Lord, what is the next move you want me to do? Come on now. Help me. Let's keep it a buck. Hey, you all, before I let you go for this evening, I've been on quite a while. September is SCI month. What is SCI month, Scriptoria? It's Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month. It's many Americans across America and abroad that have suffered with spinal cord injuries. This month is the month where we will recognize those individuals for their independence, determination, resilience, faith, and work ethic, mindset, ability to keep going, adaptation to life when it happens with a traumatic spinal cord injury. It is also Kids Cancer Awareness Month, where many kids here where we're at also is going through protons and so forth of different kind of radiology treatments for their cancer. So periodically you'll hear me this month, keep letting you know, encouraging those, not encouraging, but also periodically throughout this month, you will hear me speak on spinal cord injury, because spinal cord injury once wasn't one of my very relative topics, but God had a way of putting it in the forefront now. So as I've endured and walked this walk, I've learned a lot. And it's amazing. You think the heart is the most vital part of the body. Without that spine, baby, you dangling. You dangling. That spine, you can die. You can die with a brain injury, but that spine. See, when we cut that shrimp and you take that black part out the back of that shrimp, that's that shrimp spine. Jesus. Hey, from Scriptoria Inspiration on this Monday afternoon, you all press your way. I say press your way. Pray for those children. Keep them children encouraged. Love on them. While they're in that bed sleeping, pray over them. Before they go to bed, the 23rd Psalms. Hey, I'll see you all in the next video. I love you.